Good morning everyone. It's been a while since I've done a what sold video. In this video I'm going to be covering 21 different items that I've sold on eBay for a profit that I've gotten through garage sales, estate sales, or even thrift stores. Hopefully this video is helpful to you guys. When you go out and look for stuff, maybe you'll see some of these items and you'll be like, oh yeah, Grimzy picked that up and he sold for this much. Maybe I should pick it up because I want to make a profit. So hopefully this video is helpful to you guys, and without further ado, let's start. Alright, the first item right here is an Eileen Fisher linen blouse. So I don't like being a clothing reseller, but I'm starting to drift into that genre more and more because there's so much money to be made and there's always a bunch of clothing. I really never look at women's clothing other than Lululemon leggings. That's really the only thing I'll look at. But at a garage sale, I looked at this blouse and I was like, Eileen Fisher, that sounds familiar. So I decided to pick it up for $1 and I ended up selling it for $30. So crazy flip. Eileen Fisher is definitely a name to be on the lookout for. The market is saturated, so you might sit on it. But if you get it for those margins, it's definitely worth it. This one right here, I was so happy to get rid of because it's a huge, big item and it was super bulky. So this vintage Sony Mega Bass cassette boombox, and it's also a CD player. I ended up selling it for $62.99 and I did not have to ship it. There was a buyer that messaged me if I did local pickup, and he said, I would meet you, I'll pay the full amount, that's $62.99, because it was on sale. And I said sure, and I was like, okay, great, because I don't have to pack this thing. Because usually big bulky things, several reasons why I don't like doing that. Number one, you have to find the right box. Number two, it can get damaged in transit even if you pack it as best you can. And UPS, if you're not aware, if you haven't seen the video, does not to cover the damage. If they do end up damaging it, you have to have the package available for inspection. I don't want to go into that. That's another reason. And then lastly, usually very heavy, and so the shipping is expensive. So super glad that I did not have to ship it. $62.99. The guy picked it up. He's happy. Overall, I was happy to get rid of it, and I think I only paid about 10 bucks for this boombox. So overall, very nice flip. Another clothing item. This is an Adidas LA Galaxy home jersey. This one I picked up with Chester. I think I was with him when we went to eat at the Sonic restaurant. We went thrifting and I ended up finding this jersey at I think it was Goodwill, and it looked a little bit special because it has these little stars on it. So I was like, this has to be something. So I picked it up. I think I want to say I would pay like $2.99, $3.99 for it. Sold it for $35.99. Very nice flip there. And this is what I'm talking about, why I'm looking at clothing. Do I prefer finding video game stuff? Yes, I do. But when there is no video game stuff, but this stuff is there, and I'm already out there, why not pick it up? So I decided to pick it up, and I'm very happy with it.
All the wasted years!
This is a thrift store score, actually. Recently, I haven't been filming my thrift store scores or sourcing or pickups because usually it's a bunch of clothing, and I don't think you guys want to see me picking up a bunch of clothing. Although if you do, let me know in the comments below and I might start making more thrifting videos. The reason I haven't is because typically it's going to be a bunch of clothing. This piece right here was, I believe, $14.99 at the thrift store, and I ended up selling it for $65.49. Yes, it was brand new with tags, and it's also fire resistant. So when you're looking at jeans and you see this FR, the FR basically means fire resistant, and they usually go for a little bit more money. Very nice flip. Even though I paid $15, I still made about $40 out of that flip. So very happy overall. If I was ungated in Amazon, I would have been able to sell this for over $100 on Amazon. So that's another option. If you are ungated on Amazon, you're able to sell it for a little bit more. This is a chest set I did get at an estate sale. I believe covered this pickup on a video. I was going to sell the chest set altogether, but then I looked at it and I was like, you know what, this is big and bulky and I don't want it to get damaged or anything, and also the board was a little bit beat up, so I decided, you know what, I'm gonna just piece it out. So I decided to piece it out, 8 pieces of the chest set. I ended up selling it for $22.49, and the whole chest set sells for about 35 to 40, so that's almost the whole value right there. And I still have 3 more sets of chest pieces to sell, so I'll definitely be making more than I would have if I would just sell the whole chest set together. So happy with that sale, and sometimes it pays to piece things out, although sometimes you will be waiting longer than you would have if you sold it all together. So for me, these things aren't that big and bulky, so I decided to sell them like that. This guy was in my death pile. Prowler Spider-Man figure was in my death pile. I have no idea why he was in my death pile, but I decided to list him, and I was very surprised to see that he was worth about 30 bucks. So ended up selling it for $29.99. Couldn't be happier. look at your death pile. Sometimes death piles can definitely have some hidden value that you forgot about because it's been sitting there, so it doesn't hurt to take a look.
Be right back.
This right here is the last piece of the Gen 1 Transformer score I picked up a couple of months ago, almost a year ago now, and I know this guy's not Transformer, but he was in that lot. So I was very, very happy to pick it up. I believe I paid $93 for everything there. The Mr. Bean DVD that I did sell there got me my money back and almost enough profit. And the rest of the Transformers were profit. And then this one right here, definitely I'm already in the profit. $43.19, happy with that. And he was incomplete. So incomplete, he's worth this much. Imagine how much he would be if he was complete. Crazy deals to be had with figures. I wish I knew a little bit more about the figures that were worth a little bit more. Definitely going to be taking some time to study on that a little bit more. This was another thrift store score. Normally you wouldn't think a CD would sell for this much. This was at my Savers. The Savers had this marked, I believe, at $1.99, and I ended up selling it for $41.99. I originally wanted to get $60. I had it listed on Amazon. Amazon wanted like $80, but then they had an issue with the pricing, so they took my listing down. So I decided just to sell it on eBay. It took a while, so I had it listed on October 27th and it sold in February, so it did sit for a while, but overall I'm still happy that I picked it up because it's not a big bulky item. It doesn't take a bunch of storage space, so I was very happy to pick it up, and I sold it for $41.99. When you're looking at CDs, and especially if they're sealed, it doesn't hurt to scan and see how much they sell for. So happy with that sale, flip, and don't sleep on some CDs, guys. CDs actually are coming back, I feel. So definitely the obscure one, something that you should be looking out for. This was an estate sale pickup. I'm not sure if I reviewed this one. I don't think I did. I picked this up and a Hulk item. I want to say I paid like $5 for this, and I ended up selling it for $44.99. Now this one's open. If this was factory sealed, it would be worth well over $80. Even though it wasn't sealed, I knew there was going to be value in the item, so I decided to list it $44.99, and it sold for full price. I did sit for like a couple weeks. It wasn't a fast sale, but still happy I picked it up. In a recent video, I picked up a Nintendo Game Boy Advance SP. These things fly off the shelf if you have it priced right. So apparently I had mine priced right. I literally listed it, and like 5 minutes later it sold for full price of $74.99. I think I could have squeezed out $5 more out of it, maybe even 10, but I'm still happy overall with this pickup. The SPs fly off the shelf. If this was an AGS 101, which is the one with the brighter light, I would have sold well over $100. And the other reason I sold this is because I already have this color in my collection. So typically for Game Boys and handhelds like that, I like keeping them in the box or as best condition as I can possibly get it for. And I already had this silver color, so I wasn't tempted to keep it because I already had it. So if you're asking yourself, Grimzy, you just wanted to pick this up to sell it, yes I did, because I already had one in my collection. So had it been a different color and I didn't have it in my collection, I would have definitely kept it. The reason I have this one here is because I had an issue with another listing. So if you read the title, it says Nintendo Wii RVL 001 with Homebrew. Homebrew can get your listing taken down. So I tried listing another one, and I wasn't sure if this one would get taken down, so I decided to list another one with Homebrew as a separate word, and it got taken down. It got flagged for not being authentic. So this one didn't get flagged for some reason. I have no idea why, and it ended up selling for full price of $79.99. Now you're probably asking yourself, Grims, you could have got more from it. To me, it was a risk to my account. I just wanted to get it out of my life, so I decided to list it for $79.99, and it sold. So happy with this flip. I think I paid like $20 for this Wii, so that's like 50 bucks profit. Can't complain with that. But just be very careful if you do have a modded Wii. Be careful not to put modded. Be careful not to put words that can get your listing flagged, because they will take it down fast. So be careful with that. It might not be worth selling it on eBay. Maybe try Mercari or something. But for me, I was happy I was able to sell this. Just know that Wiis that are modded do sell for a lot more money. It's just a little bit risky. Usually muscle shirts like this tend to sell well for me. I always go for the big sizes. So this one's 3XLT. So that's a very specific large size, right? So it ended up selling for $24.99 fast. Maybe I should have listed this for $30. But for me, I picked this up for $2.99. I can't really complain with the flip profits. $24.99 from $2.99. That's good enough for me. Minimum wage is what, less than $20? And just know that some muscle shirts like this, you can get them for cheap and they can actually sell for a lot if you have the right size or the right style.
I gotta have more. I gotta have more.
And another recent pickup, I got this at a rummage sale. I believe I paid less than $29 for everything I bought at the rummage sale, and this sold for $49.99. This is the bigger knife, chef knife. The other knife already sold as well for I believe around $30. So happy overall with my knife pickup, and if you see Cutco, definitely pick it up, especially if it's vintage. First time dabbling with knives, and I'm very happy I did. Now I learned more about them, and I'll definitely pick them up if I see them cheap again. Everyone knows that Super Nintendo stuff and vintage video game stuff sells. And the reason I put this in the video is because I had several controllers in my death pile that were already tested. They were just sitting in my death pile. So I decided one day to list all of them. I had 3 different listings and they all sold to the same person pretty fast. So $34.99 for each set of 2, which is a crazy flip for me. Most of these were just extras in deals I got at garage sales. So these were all profit, can't complain. And now if I pick up a Super Nintendo and it has 2 controllers, I have to take into account that they can sell for $34.99 very fast. So definitely can keep that into consideration. But just know, if you are not aware, vintage video game stuff sells. Even the controllers can sell for a decent amount of money. The NES controllers are not as good as the Super Nintendo controllers, unless they're the dog bone controllers. But for Super Nintendo, these controllers, the original controllers, can sell for a decent amount. This is another thrift score I did not film because it was just a bunch of clothing pickups. Once again, let me know in the comments below if you want to see that. And if you do, let me know in the comments below. And remember to subscribe so if I do make those videos, you don't miss out. But this Indiana Jones Disney fox leather, which means fake leather, men's 2XL, I did pick up at a thrift store. I believe I paid $10.99 and I sold it for $94.99, which is a crazy flip. I was not thinking this was worth that much. I thought maybe it was like a $30 jacket. I did some research, and usually Indiana Jones jackets do very, very well. So I think I could have listed this for $109.99 maybe and got it, but for me, I was happy with it, and whoever got it, I'm hoping they'll enjoy it as well. And it's a very good size, so maybe if it wasn't a 2XL, it wouldn't have sold that fast. That's another consideration. It wasn't that old, so there's also that to consider. So if it was more vintage, it was obviously going to be worth a little bit more money. But for me, I picked it up, learned a little bit more about it, and now that if I see it out in the wild again, I'll know how much it's worth and if it's worth picking up, and it is. So don't sleep on clothing, guys. Clothing is a little bit tedious to look through, but if you know what you're looking for or you have a general idea, it does pay to pick it up. Another clothing piece right here is this Echo Unlimited Men's 3XL. What sold it was the size 3XL, and also Echo is on its way coming back. Definitely a Y2K, and if you see that keyword in the listing, Y2K, so people are looking for that, as that's a search term to be on the lookout for. This is a little bit vintage. People remember wearing it back in the day. That is why it's coming back and people want to wear it again. And an estate sale, I think I paid $3 for it, $24.99. Can't complain with that flip. Happy with that sale. I learned a little bit more about Echo. How many of you guys remember this Pog pickup? So I picked up a ton of Pogs. I've sold several different little lots for about 10, 9, 5, even 20. And if you remember in that video, I think I paid less than $5 for all the Pogs there. Done very well with the Pogs. They're just very, very slow sellers. This one I had listed for $54.99. I actually ended up selling it for $49.49. So this was a lot of 180, and they were all very clean, similar, the same. So I decided to make a lot of 180. I was going to try to milk this as much as I can. Do a listing of 20 a piece, 20 for $10 or something, and yeah, I would have got more money, but I decided to list it like this just to get rid of all of them, and it worked. So happy overall, $50. Know that Pogs do sell, but they can be very slow. I'm sure there's some that, just like everything else, sell for a lot of money. I just have to know what I'm looking out for.
I don't know.
This vintage training soccer short I did get in a pickup. Paid $130 for a bunch of Nike vintage clothing and Wii's. This is just part of the deal. I ended up selling it for $30. I took a best offer of $30. Crazy flip for me just for the short, and I still had a bunch of other listings to sell through, and I can't wait to see what else from that pickup sells. This was another thrift store score. I had a tin full of these Card Fight Vanguard cards, and I think they had it for $5.99, I want to say. So I brought the tin home, and I was, you know, it was a Yu-Gi-Oh tin, so I thought it was going to be a bunch of Yu-Gi-Oh cards, and it actually ended up being Card Fight Vanguard, which I knew nothing about. Took the holographics out and started looking a couple of them up. Very, very poor sell-through rate, or very little listed at all. So I decided to, you know what, on these holographic ones, the ones that are worth listing separately, I'm going to do it. And I did, and I'm so glad I did. So this was listed for $22.49. I had 2 available. The same buyer bought both of them, so it was like a $50, almost a $50 order for just 4 cards. Crazy flip from $5 to almost $50, and I have a ton of other cards left from that pickup. When you see a huge amount of cards and it's cheap, it's definitely worth picking it up. Even if they're all common, there's still value to be made, definitely if it's cheap enough. I learned a little bit more about Card Fight Vanguard, and if I see it out there, I know what to look out for, so a little bit more. So happy overall with my pickup, and I'm glad I picked it up at a thrift store. Second to last sale right here is this Rock Band stand. This was just a stand only. Unfortunately, some of the drum sets that I did pick up from that Facebook Marketplace score were corroded. The drum set that did come with this stand was actually corroded and did not work. So I did donate the drum set, but for the stand, I decided to list it separately, $24.99, and that's what it sold for the full amount, and very happy with that flip.
Money!
Last score right here was this lot of 10 Bible story hardcover books, and I did pick these up for $5 at garage sale, and I ended up selling it for $94.99. Crazy flip from $5 to $94.99. You have to have all the volumes 1 through 10 for it to have some value. These ones were vintage from 1975. That's the other reason why it was worth about this much. From a past pickup that Bible stories do sell, and if you see volumes 1 through 10, even if it's not that vintage, it's still worth the pickup if you can get it cheap enough. Hopefully you guys enjoyed the video. Hopefully this video was helpful to you guys. I did want to cover 21 different items just to make this video a little bit longer. Some of you guys do like the longer videos, so I decided to make this one a little bit longer. Remember to comment, like, and subscribe for more videos, and follow my Instagram at GrimzyRaider. Thank you for watching, and we'll see what I find next. Thanks, guys.